There's agents that look for people with sales experience. They have that. But you are a testament. You had no sales experience. You were legit bagging groceries before you got your license.
Oh, yeah.
So how'd you go from bagging groceries to getting an insurance license? All right, welcome to a special edition of True Talk. I'm my man Andrew Taylor here with us today.
Thanks for having me, dude.
Absolutely, dude. Thanks for coming in. Well, not really coming in. We're at convention. Yep, so I appreciate you doing this, man. What's funny, Andrew, I've actually been name dropping you a lot on True Talk lately.
Really?
Yes. So you don't know this, but about 10, almost 15 years ago, you were at a different company.
Yeah.
You were selling life insurance. There was an event, actually it was in Dallas. I had just met Sean a few months prior to that. He told me, Sean, get down there. So I get down there. You were on stage, and I forget why, but they brought you up and they said this kid was, you maybe 21 at the time or something. They said he used to bag groceries and he made 6 figures last year selling life insurance. And I mean this with all due respect, Andrew. I looked at you and I said, this 20-year-old kid who was bagging groceries a year ago is making 6 figures. Why can't I? Right? Yeah. I haven't made $1 yet, dude. So partly I got to thank you. One of the reasons I'm sitting in this chair today is because I saw you on stage years ago. But the reason why I bring that up is, there's a lot of misconceptions about our business. There's people that still believe that you need to have some sales experience, right, to have success here. There's agents that look for people with sales experience. They have that. But you are a testament. You had no sales experience. Mm-hmm. And that's not bullshit. You were legit bagging groceries before you got your license.
Oh, yeah.
So how'd you go from bagging groceries to getting an insurance license?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I want to thank you because I told Sean yesterday, FFL is like, you could probably live a whole bunch, like many lives, and you're not going to have the same opportunity that we have right now. And I was like, dude, the stars had to align for all this to happen.
Yeah.
Like, how many times did we almost go out of business?
A lot.
Yeah.
A lot. Just the first year, a lot.
Yeah, the first year, a lot. No one wanted us in business.
No.
Because if it got off the ground, it would change the whole industry.
Yep.
You've been here since day one, and basically, the company wouldn't be what it is without you. So thank you, dude.
I appreciate it, dude. Same to you.
All right, so I'm 18. I'm bagging groceries. Yeah. Someone gives me this book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Yeah.
Like a customer, Ricardo.
Okay.
A checker named Ricardo gave me the book about buying real estate. But in the book, it was talking about how even if you make more money, you could still just be trapped in like trying to keep up with the Joneses.
Right.
And you could still be poor.
Yeah.
Right. So I was like, okay. And at the grocery store that I worked at, you had to ask everybody if you could take their groceries out to their car for them.
So you had to ask them.
You had to ask them, or you could get fired. They had secret shoppers in there. If you didn't ask, you could lose your job.
Wow.
So one of the ladies always would have me take her groceries out, and she had a super nice car. And I'm like, what do you do for work? And she's like, my husband sells life insurance. And so I'm like, huh. And then a few days later, a good friend of mine from high school goes, hey, I'm selling life insurance now.
Got it.
So I was like, okay. So I started looking at it, and I was like, I don't want to sell anything, but they were like, no, you just have to follow up on leads.
Okay.
And I was like, well, because you know me pretty good. Could you imagine me just trying to sell with no leads?
No.
Like, I'm not going to go up to people in the mall.
Right.
I'm not going to call people randomly. So I'm like, okay, I could follow up on leads.
And you work in bagging groceries, you don't have a lot of dialogue with people, right? It's like paper, plastic, you may bring your groceries out.
I decided to get my license, and this was my financial freedom formula, okay? If I did one sale a month, I could make the amount that I made the full month working at the grocery store. Okay. So I'm like, I can't be that bad.
So how much did you make a month selling groceries?
So I made $8 an hour. It was like, I don't know, 2 to 3K after tax.
Got it.
And stuff, yeah.
So one sale a month.
I'm thinking one sale. I'm like, I can't be that bad where I can't make one sale a month. Right. So I decided to quit my job, and everybody tells me I'm getting into a scam. Don't do it. I was going to get promoted to be a checker.
What's a checker?
It's the person that actually like takes the bananas and all this stuff and scans them.
Oh, the cashier. You call it a checker.
Yeah. And then I memorized all the codes, like bananas, tomatoes, cucumbers, all that stuff, because you got to type in the code for each one of those. And then I would lose the benefits that I had if I quit. So a lot of people are like, don't do it.
So you had benefits as a bagger?
I don't know what they were, but some.
Okay.
And
wait, why were you still a bagger at 18 though? So I was a bagger too, but at like 15, once you turn 16, you could be a cashier, which is your equivalent to a checker.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot more to it. So
Okay.
I was a bagger at 16.
Yeah.
I got promoted to work in a Starbucks. So I was a barista.
Oh snap!
Which was cool. And then I got fired.
You got fired from Starbucks?
Yeah.
Why?
That's a whole nother story. I had to go across the street to get a new job at the other grocery store.
Well, you went to the rival.
Yeah.
Okay. So you had to start back at the bottom.
I had to start back at the bottom.
Got it. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So you talk about stars aligning. So everyone's telling you to get an insurance license. Your friend, this lady.
Yeah.
And then you decided to make the dive?
I just decided to make the dive, dude.
Yeah.
Well, no, I actually went and made a sale first.
Okay.
So I got off, and it's so crazy because like you could sell on Zoom now and all these different things. When I tell people I used to drive to every person's house, they're just like, "What?"
I think you're crazy now.
Yeah, but so I would get off work, take my apron off, go drive to the house. I pitched a few deals. Somebody bought.
Yeah.
Made my commission. I was like, "Whoa, this is actually like a real thing."
When you first heard, like, what did they tell you? You make $500 a sale?
Yeah. They're like,
did you believe
you
it?
can make $500 to $1,000 a sale. I mean, yeah. I was like, yeah.
Yeah. What did you think though the first time because it makes it real, right? You finally see that money in your account.
Yeah, dude. I saw it get deposited, and I was like, okay, I want to do this, and I don't want to be in the rat race.
Right.
So, I just started going on appointments, and my close ratio was really low.
You sat with 10. How many did you close?
Like 2 or 3.
Seriously?
Like if you told me no, I would leave. That was it.
You just get up and leave.
I'm like, okay. And
wow.
At first.
Yeah.
But after going and learning that you're not helping the people unless you're willing to get uncomfortable with them.
How long did it take you to get there?
Dude, it took like a year.
So your first full year, how much did you sell?
My first full year, I probably sold 100K maybe.
Okay.
But I had a high chargeback rate.
Really?
Because I would tell people, if I sold you a policy, this is how I'd sell. I go, all right, if you don't like it, you can cancel it.
If you don't like it.
Like, let's get it right now. And if
Right,
you decide you don't want it, you can cancel it.
Wow.
So, like, I had to learn that I was selling in a really weak way.
So you sat with 10, you closed 2. But even those 2, you're like, you don't really, if you want to cancel, go ahead.
Yeah, like 6 months in, it was July of like 2008. I had 17 sales. 2 were still on the books at the end of the month.
How did you not get terminated?
So then I had to go ask people, how do you get people to stay on the books?
Yeah.
And then I had to believe a little bit more in what I was doing. And it went from that to being so confident that I'd be like, Mike, you can't cancel this because your kids, this is going to protect your home. And we're going to get it approved today. So if you go to sleep tonight, you know that if you don't wake up, your kids are taken care of, your family's taken care of. Like it changed from like kind of going wishy-washy about it to like matter of fact.
Got it.
And people can feel that.
Absolutely. Was that the year you made 6 figures?
So I probably grossed 6 figures.
Okay.
But
that's your second year.
That's my first year.
Your first year.
Yeah. Like towards the end of the year, I probably grossed 6 figures, but I spent money on leads.
Mm-hmm. What do you think your lead bill was for the year?
Probably like, I think I was probably spending $40K probably I spent on leads for the year.
So that's 60.
Yeah.
Then you're paying taxes.
And
then you, like you say, you're driving to every house and not right down the street.
House, like my expenses were super high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would it be safe to say you probably brought home less than 50K?
Yes.
Yeah. And we talk about like selling at a high level. It's why selling 100K, 200K, you're almost better off getting a job. I mean, it always breaks down the math. Like by the time you're done, you're making less than if you were bartending.
And dude, that's what I like is like when I bring people into this business, I'm telling them it's a business and you got to spend money. You're right. Sean always had that thing where he's like, if you write less than 15K and you're a producer,
right,
you're not making much money after your lead bill, taxes, chargebacks, all those things. So he's like, why, dude, this is hilarious actually. When FFL opened up, he did this call where he was like, you have to do 10K.
Yeah.
Or
A
week.
Yeah.
Or he's like pretty much saying, or you're a loser.
Right.
Right?
This is early.
This is early. 2 dudes that I was working with quit because they were like,
After that one call,
they're like, dude, Sean's so unrealistic. Like,
yeah.
we just can't work here. And then I literally was mad at Sean. I'm like, dude, he's getting the people that we're recruiting to quit.
Right.
He's too intense. And then I
Were you selling 10K a
no,
weekend?
No.
What did you think when you first said
I
that?
thought it was crazy.
Yeah.
But then I was like, okay, I'm just going to run more appointments. And I started doing 10K a week.
Yeah. Then what do you think when you do that? You're like, oh shit.
I was like, oh, this is normal.
Yeah.
And then now you got people smoking that.
Oh my God, do that in a day.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was the biggest change that you had to make to go from, let's say you're selling 5K a week to 10K?
I think first you got to do it once.
Yeah.
Like the biggest thing is doing it once because then you know you can do it.
Right.
So you got to go hard once. And then it's kind of like working out, dude. Like you think a workout's crazy and then you do it all the time and it just becomes normal.
Right.
It's kind of like that.
Absolutely.
So do it once and then just do the math backwards on appointments, what your close ratio is, put in the activity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Prior to FFL, what was the most life insurance you sold a year person?
I'm going to say probably like 200.
200.
Yeah.
What about once FFL started?
Oh, dude, first year, 400 plus.
Yeah. Been Hall of Fame several times.
Yeah.
But like in those years, so talk about expenses. Comp level's huge too, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like when you were the company, I don't think you didn't have the same comp.
Mm-hmm.
The year you sold 400 here with FFL, obviously you don't take all that home. What do you think you grossed that year?
I had a small team. I don't know. I'm going to say 300.
300, yeah. How much you spent on leads that year?
No, I probably took home 300.
Took home 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I was issuing over 4 FFL's high comp model.
Right.
Yeah.
Even if you're at a starting comp, you're still making 100.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Like someone told me the other day, so they work in like an MLM like model where you start at like 25, 30, 35%, 40%.
Yeah.
And they tried to recruit me and say they have leads. And I was like, dude, you're going to...
Wait, they called you the other day and tried to recruit?
Yes.
So they have no idea who you are?
No, they do.
They do?
Yeah. They're just like drinking this Kool-Aid of like this whatever they're in. And they're like, I'm like, dude, your guys you're not going to be able to buy leads.
Right.
Your comp's not high enough. Like, the dudes that are, like, if you got to have 180, 90, 100% to buy leads and still profit.
Right.
So it's an interesting model because that's why I liked FFL, because the agent is keeping the majority of the money.
Correct.
And that's why I came here. So like, I don't know if you know this, but I was like, I'm a producer, and Sean made a statement like FFL is going to be designed where the producer, the person hitting the pavement, is going to keep the most of the money.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I'm hitting the pavement.
Right.
So I'm like, I don't even want to recruit anybody. I want to come to FFL and I'm just going to go sell and have this higher commission.
Yeah.
You know?
It's crazy to hear you say that now and knowing that you're the biggest business within FFL.
That I didn't want to recruit.
You didn't want to recruit.
Yeah.
And I remember that early on. You see a small team, like there were other people in the spot you're in right now. Top company, 40% of the company type deal. And you weren't one of them day one.
Mm-hmm.
When did you decide that I want to do that?
Okay, so my whole goal was all because of that book I read.
Your initial goal?
My initial goal was always just to buy real estate.
Okay.
So I would save money and I would like buy a property and I would try to get a tenant.
Yeah.
And I'd have a mortgage and I would try to make money, and after everything's said and done, like you make whatever, $300-400 a month, maybe if the air conditioner doesn't go out or something, right? And then I realized like I had recruited a few people and I started to love what we do. I didn't like the model where you're recruiting people, but they probably won't make it.
Yeah, throw it against the wall, see what sticks,
Yeah.
right? I remember hearing, every loser knows a winner type stuff.
And I felt I hated
bad.
it.
Yeah.
It didn't feel right inside, right? So when I started to see this and I started to go, okay, there's not a lot of BS. Like if you just tell people the numbers,
Yeah.
I started to believe like what we're doing is like literally better than anything else out there.
Right.
And then I'm buying these rental properties and I'm like, okay, if I recruited an agent and I had a 10 or 20% override and they wrote 10K in a month, even after chargebacks,
Yeah. Placement rate,
persistency, all that stuff, it's still like having a paid off rental property.
Right.
So I was like, wait a second. Like these big real estate dudes, they always say like you should get a bunch of doors. So they're like, I have 82 doors, I have 100 doors. They're talking about that's how many houses they
Yeah.
have with tenants in it, right? So I was like, wait a second. If I just replace doors with agents, I don't need the capital to pay to buy properties.
Right.
I can use sweat equity, which is just working.
Yeah.
I'm putting people in a better situation because they're going to get paid more. They're going to be able to use leads so they can see more people. And I'm like, why don't I just go crazy with this?
Yeah.
And then obviously Sean had a huge impact because he's like, he just kind of was like, dude, why can't you do more?
Yeah. You talk about real estate too. Sean he was in real estate more prior to this than now. Like you think, like you said, people get money and we're gonna invest in real estate. Dude, he sold all his real estate. But because like a lot of people don't understand what you just said. So you go to buy a property, right? You bought a handful.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, give me like what's an average size
so
property?
let's say now properties are really high
Yeah.
compared to rents. So like this, when I was doing this, if you spent $200,000 on a property,
Yeah.
you could probably rent it out for $1,500 or $1,800 per month.
Okay. Your mortgage is what?
Your mortgage is going to be, I don't know, $1,100-$1,200 a day.
Okay, so you're net in what, 600-700?
Yeah, but
Maybe.
then you have
But
vacancy.
Yeah, vacancy.
You have air
Or-
conditioning goes out,
Yeah.
and then a big thing, dude, is like squatters in California, and then you got whatever the heck, dude. People break in,
And you need the capital up front, right? So
And
you're
you
buying
have-
that property, how much you putting down?
and you got to put down 20-30% down.
Yeah.
So you got 40-60K. So I'm like, okay, if I just go find someone that's probably already doing this, I don't need 40-60K.
Yeah,
I can teach them what I'm doing.
right.
We can help people with insurance, which is pretty rewarding.
Yeah,
So, dude, it's like win everywhere,
yeah, absolutely. And what's it cost you to recruit someone?
and it costs nothing.
Nothing. Well, you can run ads. Okay, a few $100.
Dude came up to me in the lobby. He's like, I was a grocery bagger, and I got like 5 grocery baggers that are starting with us. And
That's
I was
awesome.
like, dude, I will do a conference call for you for these.
For real. You gotta start going to the grocery stores and recruiting, dude. I actually met a guy, I forget his name, but he grew up with you.
Yeah,
And he's selling insurance now.
yeah.
Right? Worked with you too. He also was a bagger.
Which one was it? Was it Brett?
Brett, yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, he did work at the grocery store. with me.
Yep.
Yeah.
Ain't that something?
So this is how much I believe in this now. Okay,
You know this kid forever.
dude, since like 2nd grade.
When did you recruit
First
him?
grade. Dude, like 6 months ago.
Why'd you wait?
I didn't wait. He waited.
He waited,
I was
okay.
trying to recruit.
Oh, so
him
you
the whole
tried,
time.
yeah.
Yeah. But this is the thing, dude. Like, I believed in it then when we had to drive around and go see people.
Yeah.
But I couldn't just pitch it to anybody because
Right.
not everybody's willing to drive all day and night.
Yeah.
Get on an airplane sometimes and go see people.
Yeah.
Have all these Dude, I would get on an airplane, rent a car, and then go see people.
Yeah, that's what we did talk about. Those years where you're hitting Hall of Fame,
Yeah.
you weren't running leads in your backyard.
No.
Like you talk about when we started, how many times we almost got out of business. Dude, like every month.
Yeah.
Sean tells the story of John Wetmore calling him up and going, you know you don't have leads. It's like, yeah, no shit. I can see the inventory. We don't have any.
Yeah.
So you had to find the leads. Like you talk about now, pull up your phone, laptop,
Yeah.
make sales. Oh, there's no leads in my area. Okay. Well, I'm selling from home so I can buy leads anywhere.
Yeah, so dude, so now that so this opened up a whole nother world of recruiting for me.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, okay, if somebody has if they have some kind of medical condition, they couldn't go travel before,
Right.
but they could sell now over the phone.
True.
If it's a single mom, they got 3 kids, they could sell now over the phone or over
Yeah.
Zoom. So it opened up a lot more conversations to me where I'm like, dude, you could do this from home.
Yeah.
So Brett, who I grew up with, dude, I told him constantly, I'm like, dude, you should do this, you should do this. Finally, I was like, dude, you don't have to drive anywhere.
Yeah.
You could do it from home, get your license, let's see if you can make a few sales. And then I invited him out, and I was like, okay, you can't. I invited him out to our office. It's like, you cannot leave until you make a sale. So we had 2 days.
How long did it take?
It took the end of the first day, dude.
Yeah.
He made his first sale.
And what was he doing for work when you just recruited him 6 months ago?
And so he had a job that he's had for a good job, like a good paying job,
Yeah.
and he was doing commercial real estate.
Okay.
So anyway, so he year to date he's at 61K in premium
So far this year.
so far this
So a
year.
few weeks into the year.
Yeah,
Wow.
and he's like, dude, this is insane.
Yeah.
And he loves selling IULs,
You know.
and designing them correctly, but the other crazy thing, dude, is my uncle Jimmy
You know.
is now selling. Have you met him?
No.
Oh, dude, you'll love him. So my uncle Jimmy, I'm like, dude, he's been in talk about like a change of everything. His whole life, he's been in the nightlife in Vegas, running venues.
Okay.
And he's like, dude, I've made other people millions of dollars, but I've never been able to be my own boss.
How'd you recruit him?
I just kept telling him for years.
Yeah.
And then finally he's like, okay, I don't have to drive everywhere. So he comes in, he gets his license, he makes a few sales, and now he's like, dude, he's crushing it.
Yeah. It's crazy.
And then on top of that, dude, my mother-in-law
Yeah. She's
got her
selling too?
license. She made
Recruiting a whole family over there.
She made 2 sales yesterday.
Yeah.
And I'm like, now, this is a big statement because I'm recruiting the people I really care about.
Yeah.
Right? So I believe pretty much if someone has the desire.
Right.
Now, we have to say not everybody can do this because people start, they fail all the time.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
But these people that I know, if they have the desire with all the different things we have,
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, you have a good chance of being able to do something.
Absolutely. So, speaking to that, what do you look for, Andrew, today? I'm sure it's changed over the years, but when you're recruiting someone, we talked about no experience and how some people are always looking, I want the top sales guy to come over, which normally doesn't pan out, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the guy who's been in sales forever and is still broke, there's usually a lot of issues they have that we can't fix, right? But you're not hiring salespeople. What are you looking for now in a recruit?
What I'm looking for is, this is my recruiting. This is how I would recruit you, okay? I go, Mike, you could be totally lying to me about your work ethic.
Yeah.
So let's say you check all the boxes. You say, I work hard,
Yeah.
I'm self-motivated, all these things. But when I talk to him, I go, Mike, you could totally be lying about everything. And people lie all the time. And I could be lying to you.
Right.
Like, I could be like, this is awesome, and it's not. So let's give this 2 weeks and give it all we got. And let's see if you do what you say you're going to do, and if I do what I say I'm going to do in the next 2 weeks, and see if we can get you paid. And if we can't, let's move on. Let's not drag this on to 6 months, a year.
Yeah.
Let's just figure it out right now. Are you cool with that?
Yes.
Okay. And then I'm going to send you contracting, and we want to get you dialing leads in the next few days. Because most people, I don't know your situation, most people need to make money fast if they're looking to get in this business. So really the real interview is that 2 weeks.
Okay.
Because you never know, dude.
Right. So you give anyone a shot.
I'll give anyone
But
a shot.
now it's 2 weeks to
Yeah.
prove yourself.
The people I won't give a shot are the ones that come and give demands they early on and they haven't done anything.
Yeah.
So if they're giving me demands on what they want, I'm like, I'm good, dude.
And it doesn't matter their background. This is where people get messed up too. Like, well, Mike, I got this guy. He worked at this company for 12 years. Why should we treat him any different than the kid who's bagging groceries?
Well, usually the people that look good, smell good, quote John Maxwell,
Right.
don't even pick up the phone and make a call.
Exactly. They know everything.
yeah.
They got all, I don't need the, you hear this plenty of times. I don't need the training, Andrew. I've been selling for years.
Yeah, and then you got the kid who's got freaking grew up with no dad,
You know?
bunch of siblings, single mom, no money, comes in and he's a complete animal.
Yeah, absolutely. So I agree. Is it something that anyone can do? No, absolutely not. Because way more people don't do it than do it, right? But you don't have to have a certain background. You don't have to have a certain experience. You don't have drive, the want, the belief.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times the belief doesn't come until someone helps bring that out of you. Like I'll tell you, one of the biggest things I've learned from Sean is mindset, belief level. We talking about early on with selling 10K a week. You needed someone to challenge you to like, he's making people quit. And you're like, you know what? Either he's full of shit or maybe he's right, but I'm going to find out. You know? And you know, it's crazy upside. Like you made money, you got an integrity deal, life's great, but it's not always like that. There's chargebacks. There's debt. What's the biggest chargeback you've had?
So, dude, I started to. This comes around being around people that will kind of change your perspective. So, to give you an idea, early on, I was complaining about people not answering the phone.
Yeah.
And then Sean ripped me. He's like, dude, people are like. People didn't wake up today. People got diagnosed with cancer today.
Right.
And because I was upset.
So you're letting it ruin your day.
I was letting it ruin my day.
Yeah.
He's like, you're complaining because I was sitting in my car.
Yep.
Because my car was my bunker to work.
Mm-hmm.
Because no one could bug me. No one could distract me. I couldn't like watch TV.
Yeah.
So I'd get in my car and I'd work for hours.
Like at home.
Dude, I'd drive down the street.
Go down the street, just work at your car.
And I would just work in my car. Yeah, even when I got an office, I would stay in my car quite a bit.
you are. Yeah, I've known you for a long time. You're odd. Yeah, I mean that in a good way.
Yeah, but think about it, dude. Like you go in the office.
No, it makes sense.
Yeah. So like, I would go work in my car and, shoot, I lost my train of thought.
Biggest chargeback.
Oh, biggest chargeback.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm complaining.
Yeah.
Sean's killing me for that. I'm like, okay, I need to have better perspective.
Yeah.
So that was the first way I viewed it, and then it kind of just reset the way I was thinking.
Mm.
And then, so this grows, okay? So then it was like, okay, I sell some policies and I get $2,000-$3,000 chargebacks, and again I'm upset.
Yeah.
And I'm scared because I'm like, dude, that's a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
And then Sean's like, dude, you could just work through it. And other people are like, yeah, you could just work through it.
Yeah.
And then it started to get a little bit bigger, okay? So I write this annuity, and I get a commission for like $27,000, I think, roughly around there, okay? And then the family loves me. I get paid. I already spent the money in my head.
Yeah. What'd you spend it on in your head?
Oh, dude, all kinds of stuff. I'm just like catching up on bills.
I'm gonna pay this. I'm gonna buy that.
I'm gonna pay this off. I'm gonna.
Yeah.
Well, they call me and they tell me that Jackie from AAA told them it was a bad deal.
Oh, okay.
So they're gonna have to cancel the policy. Okay. Because Jackie, who's an expert at AAA, wanted to write a different annuity for them.
Got it.
So they ended up canceling it, and I'm losing sleep over this $27K chargeback.
And when is this? Early FFL days?
It's early FFL, yeah. This is like a couple years in now.
So you're not making a lot of money.
I'm making good money, but not where $27K didn't matter.
Okay.
So I'm like, dude, this is driving me crazy. I go back to the client. I try to save it. I end up not being able to save it. So I just go to work, dude. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to work this thing off. I'm going to run more appointments. I'm going to see more people. I'm going to work right through this. No big deal. And I do.
How long did it take you to pay that back?
Dude, like a month.
Yeah.
But
in your head, it was like, it's over, right?
But,
like, it's going to take me all year.
But two things happened, though. One, I wasn't scared of the little chargebacks anymore.
Yeah.
So it was almost like it was like a growing pain.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second thing that happened is they ended up calling me back and going with me again. So I ended up rewriting the policy.
Yeah.
And ended up keeping the commission anyways after all those things happened.
How long was that after?
It was like a couple months. 13 visits, dude, after that.
13?
13.
Wow.
I went back and saw them 13 times.
We got agents that won't answer the phone when their client calls back once.
Yeah. So fast forward a couple years.
Yeah.
80K. Agent wrote a bunch of bad business.
This is a roll up.
$80,000 rolled up to me.
That was your biggest roll up at that time?
That was my biggest roll up at that time. And I'm like, okay, this is pissing me off.
Yeah.
Right? And it was a friend of mine too.
Always.
Yeah, well, a friend of mine wrote a bunch of fake policies, rolls up to me. So we go on one of these carrier trips, and I'm in the jacuzzi, and Mark Mead's in the jacuzzi. If you ever go on vacation with him, he's always in the jacuzzi.
Right.
Like, if you want to find him, and you're at any resort anywhere, you will find him in the jacuzzi. And I'm complaining. I'm like, dude, this dude did this. I'm pissed. And he's like, okay, what was your gross deposits for the year? And I was like, it was like 800.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, so now it's 720.
Right.
He's like, so instead of 800, it's 720. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
So like, I'm still making really good money. And then again, I just figured out how to get better, another growing pain. And then what ended up happening, dude, is I wasn't scared anymore.
Yeah.
So when you're scared and you try to call a client and save a policy, they can feel it.
Right.
But when you don't have commission breath because you don't care because you're not scared,
Yeah.
then you have a better chance of saving the policy. So I had a rule. Every chargeback, dude, I would go back and see them and I would present again and try to save the business. And it would work maybe 50% of the time.
Right. Which adds up, dude.
Which adds up. But dude, to work without fear is powerful.
It is. How did you get there?
Dude, 10,000 in-homes.
Yeah.
A lot of things happening that back in the day would freak me out, but overcoming them.
Yeah.
You know?
And you also got to reflect, like, that moment with Mark sitting there. I bet it brings up a lot of those other things. Like, you know, it's all about perspective because you can easily, when he says that, almost go back to, I remember being afraid of a $2,000 chargeback or going back to the day I was afraid to fail my test.
Dude, you want to know how afraid I was? If I sold you a policy, I would not call you back I didn't want to remind you had a policy in case you wanted it, in case you canceled.
Yep. We used to go out, you remember, weekends. That was always Sean's deal, Saturday, Sunday. We'd load up. At the time, it was 20 appointments. So we go out. Sunday night, me and Sean are at the office scrubbing paper apps, stack of apps on the desk. And Monday morning, dude, I hated Monday mornings. Because you know what happened Monday morning? You get those phone calls. Because that was back when we would do anyone, you got 24, 30-day look period, all this stuff. And you get called, cancellation after. So I would be afraid to talk to clients.
Yeah, if they called you, usually you're like, uh-oh.
Yep.
Dude, then I got so confident, dude, I'm calling you going, dude, you got approved.
Yep.
Congratulations. Don't ever cancel this because it's only going to get more expensive as you get older. And call me if anyone else calls you. Dude, there's so many cool things you can do for retention.
Yeah.
Too.
So how do you help new agents? Because, you said you got there 10,000 in-homes. Sure. But I'm starting day one, Andrew. I'm afraid. I need money, right? People don't come to us wealthy, usually.
Yeah.
They come to us most of the time, in a bad spot.
Yeah.
How do you help a new agent get there without having those 10,000? How does a new agent proceed with no fear before he gets to those?
Well, I think if I don't know the answer because I think it's always going to be a little bit scary because it's new. So I think you just have to do it.
Yeah.
But we can tell you things you can do to make it easier for you.
Right.
So like sending a customer a thank you card, handwritten. Every customer I send a handwritten thank you card. That's going to help you with retention, so you don't have to deal with as many issues that I had when I wasn't doing that.
Right. This stuff goes a long way. Those guys, they send them a pen in the mail. It's something to remind them.
We send postcards still to this day to every person I've ever seen. We send one at Christmas, and then we send one at springtime, and it's called spring cleaning.
Yeah.
And it says as you're dusting off your policy and all your stuff, give us a call if you want to review.
There's a lot of postcards.
Yeah.
There's a lot of insurance.
Yeah, it's a lot of postcards. But dude, we sent one when AC was born.
Yeah.
And everyone thought I was crazy for doing this. It said, we have a growing family, meet AC.
Yeah.
And then it said, and we need to make more sales because kids are expensive.
Make more sales out? Yeah. Dude, see, I said you're odd, Andrew, in a good way. It works, though. One of the funniest things that I heard you say, it was back when you were selling full-time and you were pushing the cashback option. What was it? Like, it benefits all three of us because if you sell it, I get paid.
Yeah. So my pitch was this. It was, Mike, if you die, your wife gets paid. And if you live, you get paid, you got all your money back. and if you buy this, then I get paid. so we all get paid,
yep.
And then they would just laugh and they'd like it.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's being straight up.
Yeah.
You don't have to pretend like you're not making money doing this. You're not there for free.
Dude, early on, they'd be like, "How much do you make?" And I'm like,
Oh, you're paid by the hour, yeah. But
then later on, I'm like, I get paid $2,356 if you buy this policy.
Right. But it's stupid. People are attracted to confidence.
Yeah.
Right. And people love openness, transparency. Like, give me the truth, good, bad, and different.
Yeah. Do you remember the training, Fire Your Representative? Do you remember that?
Vaguely.
So basically, what it was saying is like we all go into appointments and talk to clients early on, pretending to be somebody else.
Right.
So like early on for me, I'd be like, okay, I'm really this 18-year-old kid and I have no idea what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But I'd be like, oh, I've been doing this a long time and I'm an expert, and
right.
I'd be talking about things I don't know about.
And they know.
And Fire Your Representative means you just go in and go, dude, you're my first client ever.
Yeah.
And if I don't know the answer, I'm gonna call my manager.
Mm-hmm.
And how people will buy from just you being real, opposed to you pretending.
Absolutely.
Like, so I would just be brutally honest with all the customers, and they would like it.
Yeah, dude. Sean used to call me from appointments. Sean sold way more than I did, but he'd call because I knew the medications and stuff. So he'd like, let me call my medication guy, run this by him real quick. But the clients respect that. Like, oh, you're asking somebody else. That's a misconception too. Like, oh, if I call Andrew from the house, the client's gonna think I don't know anything.
Dude, Sean told me this story. I don't know if you were with him, but he said someone was with him.
Yeah.
Where he said that he went on an appointment. This guy was mixing up paint with his spoon.
Yes, I was with him. Yes, that was my day of training.
The guy was mixing up paint with his spoon, and then he used the same spoon to take a bite of his cereal.
Yes.
And he said, he goes, okay, he's buying life insurance because he eats paint.
And that's not a question on the app either. Yes, that's the true story. That was my training day.
That's good, dude.
It was interesting. It wasn't like the movie training day, but it was close. It was interesting. But you know, the biggest lesson I learned in this business early on, and a lot of things have changed. You talk about being in home, you know, go to virtual. We're selling more IUL than anything else, but the concepts haven't changed. The attitude, activity are still the two things you need. So you're talking about what do you need? You don't need experience. You don't need to be a salesman. You got to work your ass off and have the right mindset.
And I think you got to earn the right mindset still every day.
Absolutely.
Like for me, it don't get like you think it gets easier, but I have to go back and be like, I need to work on myself. I need to work out. I need to do all these things, or I'll be a mess myself. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like the work ethic, right? You don't put in a lot of work one week and then I can take it off this week and get paid. No, you have to continue. And then to your point, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
You have to work on it. It's not I reached a perfect mindset and I'm good forever. It's not how it works. How do you maintain your mindset being in this business? You've been, 15 years now?
Yeah, dude. 15 years.
What do you do differently now to maintain that?
Well, what's funny is when I got paid like more money than I ever thought I'd make in my life.
Yeah.
Times 10.
Right.
Times 100. I stopped doing all those things.
Mm-hmm.
The things that made me successful in the first place.
Yeah.
So like I stopped getting up super early. I stopped working out first thing in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
I stopped reading, which always helps me with perspective and like thinking right, all these different things, right? Then I started to notice I started to get negative. And this is after already I've had success.
Yeah.
So then I had to go back to the basics of like all the things I did early on, which was always still stay in training, dude. Like I've been sitting in the front row listening to all the top producers at this event.
And I had to drag you up here. I'm like, yo, you ready? Come on.
Yeah. And so I'm doing that. I'm reading, getting up, dude. I don't know about you, but getting up early and exercising, my day is 100 times better.
You have first
productive. First thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is getting back to the basics.
Getting back to basics, dude. And then the other thing I realized, dude, is being productive and creative is what made this fun.
Right.
And when I stopped doing that, I stopped having fun.
Yeah.
And the money wasn't fulfilling that. Like.
Right. Yeah, so money's no longer driving you, is that safe to say?
Correct, yes.
So, I mean, last thing, Andrew, we'll talk a lot about a why. And I feel like you don't necessarily need a massive why to go sell life insurance, right? Like you got bills, this, that, but to sell at a high level, build a business and build a career in life insurance, I feel like you need to have a why. How's your why changed over the years?
That's a good question. So I think in order to keep doing this, because there can be a lot of up and downs every single week.
Yeah.
I think you do have to have a why, because I wanted to quit like 100 times or more. But I was like, okay, early on my why was to help my mom.
Yeah.
My dad died when I was 10.
Mm-hmm.
She raised us with 3 jobs. He had no life insurance. There was no money left behind. She had no job.
Yeah.
4 kids.
Wow.
So she got 2 to 3 jobs, and she's an animal.
You never seen her growing up?
No, I mean I did, but dude, she worked a lot.
Yeah, like on the go, always doing something.
Like, dude, we would get dropped off we had to go to school and stay till the very end.
Yeah.
And take the bus home, so she could work and then get a babysitter, and then she was a bartender at night.
Okay.
But dude, she's an animal.
Yeah.
But a big thing was like, I'm like, okay, I don't want the people I care about to worry about money, so I want to be able to go out there and make money. That was my initial why. So I wanted to quit a bunch of times.
Yeah.
But I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go back to that. The other thing was, I'd come to these events and I would see other people get awards, and I'm like, I want to compete with them.
Yeah.
So it almost gamified it. It made it a game for me, right? And early on, it was also to make money, right? And then now it's at a point where it's like, okay, there's 2 things. Now I got kids that are watching me, and I don't have it figured out, but I have an idea that they're gonna watch you opposed to listen to you. You would know more than I would.
Absolutely.
Because I got a 4 and a 2-year-old.
Yep. No, you're spot on. I think a lot of people have that misconception. I can do this and tell them to do the opposite and they'll listen. No, it's not true.
Yeah.
At all.
So I want to be a good dad.
Yeah.
That's the first thing. And I'm having a blast with these kids.
Yeah.
And then the other thing, dude, is like, I made a comment maybe about a year ago because I was trying to recruit big teams, and I had recruited a couple big teams, and I was telling Sean, I'm like, dude, I like recruiting big teams. I don't want to just recruit like one person at a time anymore.
Right.
And he was like, yeah, but dude, what about the grocery bagger? Like, how would you feel if like someone didn't want to recruit you because you were a grocery bagger, you were in a big team? Damn, that's kind of like, it's kind of messed up, right? Like I kind of lost my way a little bit. Yeah. So it's also now to teach other people it's just to pay it forward.
Right.
You know, you can do really well. You can be your own boss. You can be self-employed.
Yeah.
You can do all these things.
You guys do a great job of that on your podcast, like your YouTube channel with showcasing. You have a lot of young writers, a lot of young producers that have come from. Like, give me some of the backgrounds that some of these top guys that you have now came from.
Well, I'll tell you a couple interesting things. So we've interviewed, I think, 400 plus top producers.
Yeah.
And almost in every interview, they all have a morning routine.
Yeah.
Which I think is pretty interesting that almost every single one of them has.
It's funny how similar they are too, right?
Yeah. Some of them are like ice baths at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
Actually, Easton stayed in Vegas and I did his routine with them.
Yeah.
You had to be in the ice bath at 3:30 in the morning, dude, in the middle of winter. And dude, I was exhausted.
I bet.
Like, dude, we already lived a full day by like 6:30 in the morning.
Damn.
Yeah. But they all have morning routines.
Yeah.
Usually, what's super common lately is prayer or meditation or some type of something to help get their thought process right early in the morning.
Yeah.
And so the top producers are doing that. The other thing that's probably pretty common, I would say, is they're all really comfortable investing quite a bit into leads.
Yeah.
So like, it's hard to do this if you don't have people to talk to. Now I'm hearing crazier numbers than I've ever heard before, dude.
I bet.
So like, I always thought like 1,000 or 2,000 a week is pretty aggressive.
Right.
Dude, there's people that spend $5,000 per week
Yep.
on leads.
But what are they gross in a week?
Dude, they're making money.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're getting like 250 new leads a week, like on some of these programs. So they got so many people to talk to that they're slammed, dude. They can't help but not work.
Right.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So they're doing that. And I think you might agree with this, but like, if you get uncomfortable, then you have to work.
Yeah.
And then you can figure it all out.
Dude, we were at the old company. You remember the statement, free till Friday. Your leads will free till Friday. You know, they'd allocate them, you'd have them, and you'd be charged on Friday.
Yeah.
You got 4 days to figure it out. But Sean would always they'd come in, because they didn't always come in, right? You're looking for leads. I remember one day he called me and a few other guys up. He had nowadays this number will sound like nothing, but it was like 400 or 500 leads that came in. And there was like 4 or 5 of us. So he's like, you're getting 100 leads. Now back then we're like, oh my God. Nowadays we would just like eat them up, right? But to your point, I was very uncomfortable because I knew, dude, 100 leads I'm gonna have to pay for on Friday. What I do, I booked as many appointments as I could.
But see, that's where we were on auto order for leads.
Yeah.
Some people, they don't have auto order, so they just buy a couple here and there,
Right.
and buy a couple here and there, and then they don't get that many reps in.
Yeah.
And it makes it really hard.
Yeah, because you're gonna have a learning curve no matter how good you are, what background you come from. But it all comes down to how long you want to stretch that out.
Yeah.
You got to get in front of your 100 sits, right? You want to do it over the course of 10 weeks or a week, and you can move through that learning curve a lot faster.
Mm-hmm.
And we're set up now from a lead standpoint, from doing everything virtual. I mean, like if you recruit me today and I'm licensed, how quick can you get me making money?
I think if you're licensed, I'm gonna have you booking appointments
Day one.
Day one.
Yeah.
Like you're not even gonna have your carrier numbers through yet.
Right.
Okay.
You're gonna get leads to me day one.
Yeah. Leads to day one, you start calling.
Yeah.
And then probably within a few days, once you get your writing numbers, you can submit business. And when you're new, I don't know, 1 or 2 weeks, 1 to 2 days, but let's just say, just on average, a week or two,
Yeah.
you're getting deposits.
I mean, dude, that's quicker than a regular job where you gotta wait 2 weeks to get paid.
Yeah.
And then and that's only because carrier writing numbers get you appointed, background check, the whole deal.
Dude, yeah.
Once that's done though, you're getting paid next day.
Yeah, but I think the big opportunity for the future is like there was a dude who got an eye surgery and he could barely see.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so he sent me this video. He ordered this huge keyboard, dude, that like is so big.
Yeah.
And he submitted like 20K still over the phone.
Wow.
In business.
Yeah.
And then there was another lady who had cancer and was in the hospital.
Yeah.
She was writing apps in the hospital over the phone. Because she had a kid and she had to make sure her bills were paid.
Yeah.
But she was able to do that. So dude, I think this like where we can go now, it truly is a restart.
Absolutely.
Because now that
it's a whole new business.
It's a whole new business. Yeah.
Like compared to when you and I started, I mean, we're not to sound like the guys, walking up the hill to school, but dude, we had paper apps. How long did it take to get paid back then? On a simplified issue policy.
If you didn't
mess something up. If you didn't mess something up.
Yeah.
A week, 2 sometimes?
2, yeah.
Yeah. Now, if you mess something up, then you got to go get signatures signed, paper signed again. Nowadays, it's all electronic.
It's all electronic. It's dummy proof. It doesn't let you submit it if there's a mistake.
Right. You can't screw it up. We'd send stuff, oh my God, 4 or 5 amendments. Like, oh God, this thing's never getting paid.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, dude, let everybody know, first of all, your social media is awesome. What you guys do is great. Matter of fact, Taylor flew out to your studio and we copied a bunch of stuff.
Nice.
So, yeah. But where can they go check out your content?
So our agency name is Family First Life USA.
Yeah. You're on
YouTube, Instagram.
We do a podcast once a week.
We do a podcast once a week.
What's that called?
That's just on our channel.
Yeah.
So Family First Life USA.
Gotcha. There you go. Keep it simple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interview top producers, see what they're doing, and we talk about good and bad.
Yeah.
Like I always want to talk about the bad too.
Right.
Because I want to weed out someone who is not willing to go through the ups and downs
Yeah,
of the
and
business.
it's not reverse psychology. Like,
No.
we promise you, we want less of you. Like, we
Yeah.
want the ones that are gonna make something happen,
Yeah.
but we want to weed out the people that don't want to be here.
100%.
And this is not for everyone, but anyone could do
Dude,
it.
but
As
if
messed
you-
up as that
If
sounds.
you're in sales though,
Yeah,
I think you need to look at this.
absolutely.
If you're in commission only sales, this kid texted me the other day. He goes, door to door salespeople are going to take over the industry when they find out how this works.
Yeah,
Because they're just knocking on doors selling solar or pest control or whatever. They're like, dude, imagine what they can do.
right.
It's like swinging a weighted bat and taking the weight off.
Yeah. How many people do you interview that have been in sales and had no idea even about leads until they came there?
Yeah.
And if you're out there selling without leads, give us a call.
Yeah.
To your point, yeah, if you're in commission-based sales, at least take a look.
Mm-hmm.
But I appreciate everything you do for the company. You've been, a leader since day one, adapting, and a lot of people making money, which is awesome.
Yeah.
It's like you started to just take care of your mom, which you have done, and then some. But now, how many individuals have you helped? They come to you broke, busted, and you help them improve their life.
I mean, yeah, not me, but just a
You
product.
played a big part. I know
A
you're
product of everything.
Yeah. I mean, it's an amazing system,
Yeah.
amazing company, but
Yeah.
you're out there. I mean, you're still recruiting. You're still talking to these guys, right?
Yeah.
You're the one talking to them.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest company, the biggest business within FFL, and the guy at the top is still doing the recruiting.
Yeah.
Partly why you've been so successful, because you're not afraid to get your hands dirty. Last thing I'll say is, I love how every time something new came out, a new product, a new lead, you would test it out. I remember it was a handful of years ago, maybe 4 or 5 years ago. Final expense leads, right? We had the internet final expense leads. Everyone hated it. They're so bad, you can't sell them. What'd you do?
Dude, I got a bunch of them and I went and ran them.
Yeah, and sold them.
Sold them.
And you were out of the field already.
I was out of the field.
For what, a couple of years already?
Yeah.
You didn't need the sales, like you were already big business.
Yeah, because I wanted to take all the excuses away.
Yep. So I
But
appreciate
now,
you for that.
Now it's like, dude, IULs are changing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And Zach did the same thing with IULs. He's like, let me get some of these leads and sell them.
Yeah.
But that's why you've been so successful. You're not afraid to get your hands dirty. I appreciate everything you do. Appreciate you coming and do this. Guys, check out Andrew Taylor's channel. Subscribe to him. Subscribe to FFL if you haven't already. And you know where to find us every week right here on True Talk. We'll see you next week.